Hi, friends. We're back to just take a few moments to spotlight Jerry's focus on education in South Carolina. As a reminder, Jerry is running for the South Carolina House of Representatives, and the primary election is on June 9th. So jumping right in, Jerry, what are the main issues for education in South Carolina that you've seen and heard about that you'd like to address?
Well, education it should be the issue that's on the top of anyone's list who's running for office or who's in office. The thing I think that's most critical to me now is it seemed to me from last year's legislature that things were moving in a positive way to try to get additional funding and salaries for teachers, additional resources. So some money had been put in the budget, and that was to me just a start. But now we've had the pandemic. And, this $1.8 billion reserve South Carolina had, I don't think we have that anymore. The money that we've had to expend to try to help support those who needed help. I just think so much of that money is and will not be available. The legislature has done a continuing resolution, which basically keeps the current spending at the same level. So I'm really concerned that rather than making continued progress, we've actually backed up because of this. And what I don't want to see is that the teachers to suffer from that, because first of all, you can't give them enough compliments for doing what they did to just ramp up and get things online like they did. My God, that was a remarkable job. It's worked extremely well. To their credit, it's kept everybody in contact and in focus, but it's also proved to some issues that we have, one of which is not everybody has internet access. The broadband width in this state is not great. So I've heard actual stories of parents having to take their kids to a church parking lot or to some other outside public facility and sit there for 2 hours while the child was doing homework. So, there are already issues, and now they've been complicated by the pandemic. And what we need to make sure is we just don't back up any more than we have to. We'll have to some, but not much, I hope.
Right. So, obviously this pandemic has elevated these issues to the forefront of our awareness. Do you think, it'll shape your policy ideas moving forward? Is there anything, budget, broadband width, of course. We want to make sure teachers are being taken care of, obviously. So this is shaping way more than we probably even imagined it would be. As far as student performance, how are you hoping to improve student performance, and how do you think you can bring South Carolina values to our education system to enhance student experience and in performance?
Well, let me kind of answer that in two ways. I think it's, first of all, in terms of trying to help the teachers out. And again, it's not all salary. They certainly need to make sure that they are at least making the average salary for the United States, and they're not anywhere near that. But we have to do more to support them in their activities. Are there duties that we currently put on the backs of teachers that maybe can be transferred to the district or at the state level, take some of that daily and regular burden off? Like, can we not do more coordinated lesson planning? It was just, we've got to eliminate some of the redundancies, and we've got to, where we can, pass some of this workload elsewhere. And I just think that's something that needs to be reviewed. In terms of student performance, one of the things that gives me great concern is a report issued, South Carolina Reports just last week, pointed out that there's a significant lack of achievement from kindergarten through 8th grade. We're missing the mark, which means that kids who are being educated now in terms of their performance level will not have the skill sets that are going to be needed 5, 10, 15 years. And it doesn't seem like our system is doing anything to address that. So we've got to figure out, where the roadblock is. We've got to figure out how to mitigate that. I don't know if it requires more technical hands-on application. It's got to be a change of paradigm in terms of what do we do to make sure that this child has the ability to perform at their highest level in whatever their chosen profession is. And again, but not all kids are going to college, but we've got one of the greatest community college systems in the United States. And many graduates from community college are making a lot more money than people who graduated from university. So there needs to be a balance we need to promote, but we've got to bring that achievement level up because it's not good. It's got to be better.
Is there anything else that you want to add about your hopes for the education system, or anything else that we may have missed?
Well, we haven't missed it, but it has to go back with the funding. It's through no fault of anyone with the pandemic. It has stopped the budget. We are at the same budget spending levels as we were last year. So I am concerned about how we make sure that we get monies into the system. We get monies that were promised to teachers. So a couple of things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to look at redirecting some money from some other sources. Find out where it's not as critical as to providing to teachers. We're going to have to, again, I already said, reduce redundancy. You find out where, if you're duplicating something, quit it. Just find out where the fat is, get rid of it, lean things up. And again, you have to, with the pandemic and what it's caused to the system, you're going to have to look at this with a different eye in terms of where the spending needs are, where the emphasis needs to be placed, and how we get to the end, which is making sure that we keep the promise to the teachers and their staff and resource people. Those people are very deserving, and we need to work hard to make sure that we keep our word.
Yes. So if teachers or administrators or anybody want to reach you to hop on the phone and talk about their concerns or email you, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, I would suggest they do the email. I've got a campaign email, which is electjerrycard@gmail.com, and I'm on it every day. So I'm very responsive on email. So that's generally the best way. And if we need to further it with a telephone conversation, I'll make arrangements for us to do that. So yeah, I'd love to hear anybody's comment, reactions, suggestions. The way I get through these things is talk to the smartest people around and then try to condense the information and move forward. So that's the only thing I'm asking.
Wonderful. Okay, so we will link your election website, campaign website below, and copy the email address that you just said. And we're rooting for you, and we hope everybody gets out and votes on June 9th.
Absolutely. And thank you for this. I appreciate it.
Thank you.